Hey, dear Leo, I'm Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your June 2021 horoscope. And we have quite the cosmic activity going on. And no doubt that the eclipse, the total lunar eclipse that happened in Sagittarius on May 26th, has activated something for you. And if it hasn't yet, just pay attention to the month of June, because this is the time when Mercury is also retrograde in Gemini. It went retrograde on the 29th of May, and we were most likely feeling it long before it actually stationed and went retrograde. Some of you have already reported in that you were receiving some communication with people from the past. That's a very mercurial thing that happens when it is retrograding and in its home sign of Gemini, sextiling your sun, moon, or rising sign in Leo. And so here we have retrograde through your 11th house, which is about your social circle. It's about your friendships. It's about your group activity. And it also has the connotation and energetics of your hopes and wishes. So you may be revisiting a lot of those kinds of themes, if you will. And that is going to continue through the entire month of June, because we are going to have Mercury station and go direct on June 21st, 22nd, depending on where you are in the world. And yet it stays in shadow. It takes a little bit for it to like wake up from its nap and to get moving forward again. So just consider the month of June to be Mercury retrograde themed month. And in that 11th house, this is a great time to catch up with old friendships, if that is something you have been missing, especially because, you know, Leo, you've probably been super focused on your own business, on your career, on trying to move things forward, your professional life. And so it very often can cause you to get distracted or not have time for your friendships. Some of you Leos also have relationship on your mind. And so you may have had to invest a lot of time and energy into relationships. And we know that often, especially if it's a new relationship, for some of you, which was single Leos, are now coupled in a new one, that you kind of create this little bubble, right? And nothing else exists except you and this person. And so you may not have had a lot of time to, you know, spend with your friends. And so month of June could have you introducing this new beloved to your friends. And also here we are collectively getting back into whatever this new normal will look like, but travel's coming back, and being able to go about our lives to restaurants and bars and social settings without mask and social distancing. That also means barbecues and pool time and getting together again. And so the activity could be very heightened. At the same time, some of you with a retrograde energy may find that you need to withdraw from your friendships. And if there is a friendship from the past that you've let go of, that you're just like, it's not really my thing, then you may say, never mind. You may ignore it completely. You may have let it go, especially with this eclipse energy that we have, and we're still feeling it. And so you may also feel as though your social calendar is so full that you're like, it's overwhelming. Forget it. I'm clearing my calendar and I'm taking time for me. It's also possible that this Mercury retrograde could bring up some misunderstandings, that there could be some conversations that take place where you're saying one thing and they're hearing something totally different. And that is because we have had Mercury squaring off with Neptune at the beginning of this retrograde time. And so it is going to activate a lot of confusion. And with it being a square, there can very often be this tension that shows up. And of course, the tension often shows up when there is a misunderstanding, or if there is some gossip and you find out about it, or you're participating in it and it gets found out. That's another thing that you want to continue to look at, because if you are involved, or maybe this group that you participate in, your circle of friends, they're all talking about, hey, I never see this Leo anymore. They seem to be all, with their partner, or they seem to be caught up in all their business. All they care about is that. They don't really care about just hanging out and having a good time. Then very often that also can create hurt, right? Because we feel hurt when our friends talk bad about us behind our back, especially, may even be right in our faces. I would also say, Leo, that you may be also looking at a love relationship that is needing to be revisited, whether you're partnered or single. And this could be, if it's single and you haven't met anybody, it may be, how do you love yourself? How do you allow yourself to be in relationship? And that there may be some things about how you are a friend to yourself, and in order to show up as a friend for somebody else, you have to be really clear. What are you offering, or what are they offering you? This is also a good time to let go of the connections that no longer serve you, and that certain decisions that you make right now may be final, because we're dealing still with that eclipse energy. So there may be some grief that shows up because you are having to let go of a belief system or an idea about how that friendship or that social circle was supposed to behave and do certain things for you, and it's not happening. And you're having to go, okay, I have to just let this go. Some keywords that we want to use during a retrograde are the REs. And for this is about being able to reconnect. So reconnecting with yourself, reconnecting with others, reconnecting with your truth. I think that's the other thing, is that in this foggy energy that Mercury retrograde often creates, we need to take time to regroup. So that's another good word. And really go into a place of reformation as well in that 11th house, because it has a lot to do with, I had a belief system about myself, this person or situation. Now I need to reform the way in which I've interacted with them, or the beliefs that I've held about it, or the way in which I even socialize. Now, the other thing that we have, that was a big theme. So I've talked a lot about the Mercury retrograde because it is going to color the entire month. We also have Venus. We know our planet of love, beauty, harmony, relationships, and finances. It's really about values. And Venus moves into Cancer. She is going to be activating your 12th house, and this starts on June 2nd and will last all the way to June 27th, when Venus moves into your sign, making you the cosmic lover that you are. But before we get to the end of June, let's talk about Venus in Cancer. So the first couple weeks of June will most likely have you very protective, very possessive over what is meaningful to you, what you value, your family. You may find that in this 12th house, your family is dealing with something that needs some structure, and is very nebulous. It doesn't have a lot of boundaries. It doesn't have a lot of really good safety net, if you will. And so you may decide that you're going to provide that for others, but also for yourself. This 12th house is considered the house of the undoing. However, with Venus here, she's a benefic. And with her being here in Cancer, then what I would sense is that you may be very protective of your dreams. You may be very protective of your mind. You may be very protective and also very attached to your spiritual nature. And so this spirituality, this idea, or this feeling that you may have about your dreams, and I don't just mean your hopes and wishes. That's more 11th house, which is active. This is your dream state. This is where you go into the subconscious mind, and things come up and out for you to be able to nurture that maybe you didn't even know was there. This can be a very beneficial time for you to go deep within yourself, do a little research about what is it that this Leo really needs in order to feel whole and complete. This is the house of wholeness. Because if you think about it, you're going from on the zodiac wheel, you're going from Aries all the way to Pisces, or first house all the way to 12th house. And this is 12th house, which is asking you, what is it that makes me feel whole And the values that I hold and the relationships that I have, do they complement and help me to feel, I'll call it the Jerry Maguire, the completeness, if you will. Now, the other thing that's going to be happening, I sense for Leo, is that with Venus in Cancer here, is that you may easily attract a spiritual teacher. You may easily attract somebody who wants to nurture you or brings out the nurture in yourself that sets you up as that spiritual teacher. So even though, yes, there's practical, mundane things happening, you may take that higher view or that higher perspective so that you can then be the one who teaches, what's the other word, counsels others. So you may find that people are coming to you because they want the higher wisdom. They want to be able to offer an opportunity for you to share what you are intuitively, psychically picking up for them, and that helps them feel like they're part of your home or they're part of your family. I would also say, Leo, that some of you will be activated to find you have your tribe. Maybe you've reconnected with your tribe, if you will, and that with Venus in this 12th house, you're now going to become the one who sort of mothers in that tribe. Now we have a Gemini new moon eclipse as well in your 11th house, further activating that idea of reconnecting or regrouping, but also setting something new. This happens June 10th, setting something new when it comes to your friendships and your social circle and the way in which you interact in the group. So if you did let go of a belief, or you let go of an expectation, or you reconnected with a friend, that now you can start on a new path and a new journey. I want to plant the seed that this eclipse is the first eclipse of this year in Gemini. So we have another one at the end of the year. Consider this now the beginning of a bookend, a beginning of a series for the next 6 months. So whatever you start at this Gemini new moon will then complete itself in 6 months' time. Now, the other thing we have is Mars entering your sign of Leo, and that is going to be in, of course, in your first house. When I'm looking at the charts, when I do these, I put the sign on the first house cusp. So this is Mars in Leo. If you have a Leo sun, moon, or rising sign, this will apply to you more strongly than others. If you have a natal Mars in Leo, this also can be very active. So hang in there with me as I describe some of the characteristics or qualities that Mars entering Leo may have. So here we have Mars in a fire sign. Mars likes the fire signs, and it likes being in Leo, where it can be driven to shine and to stand out and to make things happen and to be seen and given attention for all the glitter and glamour that Leo can put on. So your beauty, your charm, your ability to stand as a leader. And I would imagine in this first house, many of you Leos will find yourself in leadership positions, or you are in one as a authority or somebody who is an expert in their field, or in the just in the aura in which you give off, that people see you as that leader. They see you as a fearless person, and that can help you with your relationships. So if you have just started a relationship, your partner can look at you as somebody they can trust, they feel confident in, because your confidence will exude. Or it could be that you're in a current relationship, you're in a bonded relationship, that this could offer you the ability to support your partner, and then they shine the light on you and say, I couldn't do this without you, Leo. And then the accolades can come. Now, granted, Mars can also incite anger. It can incite aggressiveness. That's the shadow side. So some of you may find yourself, standing on stage, being really confident, being that leader, and others may not appreciate it in the way that you would like to be appreciated. And that, of course, can activate some of that 11th house stuff that's happening, where there's talk going on behind the scenes, gossip, that sort of thing in your social circles or in your friendships. They're like, look at that Leo. They think they're all that. What is wrong with them? That sort of thing. So you have to watch out for that, how that can activate, of course, hurt feelings and situations. Now, we do have on June 20th, Jupiter is in its traditional home sign of Pisces, And that has been in your 8th house. It dipped its toe into Pisces in May, and it will stay there till the end of July, but it is going to retrograde in your 8th house on June 20th. And so you may find yourself, pulling in just a little bit about what do I believe and what do I really feel around psychically around joint resources. It may be good time for conversation internally first, and then sharing with a partner, whether it's a personal or professional partner, some of your ideas and some of the ways in which you two can deepen the connection for yourselves. This may also be where the idea of intimacy gets stirred up, and inside of yourself, you may go, the intimacy that I have for myself is in what I believe, or the great faith that I hold, that the investments I've made, the partnerships I've engaged in, can actually be what's right for me. And I can believe in the future. I can believe that what we are doing together is going to create long-lasting results. I would also say that with Jupiter in Pisces in your 8th house, really tap into that subconscious, but it's more of the great mystery, taking yourself into meditation, because remember that 12th house is active as well with Venus, and is making this beautiful trine from Cancer to Pisces between your 8th and 12th house, doubly activating, making it very harmonious and easy for you to take time out to go into meditation, to retreat, and to do a little bit of subconscious research, or to go into some of those places that have been hidden from you that can now emerge and create a deeper bond and a greater faith in yourself, in the partnerships, and in the investments that you make. On a practical level, if you feel as though some of the investments you made either got lackluster or left behind, or you were uncertain, this could be a time to strengthen your resolve, to also revisit some of those investments, whether it's an investment in a person or investment in a actual monetary aspect, that you can then look at it and say, okay, let's reevaluate what's really important here, and what do we need to do in order to anchor it and I guess create this long-term result that we're looking for. So I would venture to say, Leo, that some of you are going to be having conversations about where are we going? What's the next step? And that, I'm going to point out, will most likely apply to romantic relationships. What does this actually mean for us? And can I have faith that what we have invested in or partnered in is actually the right thing for both of us? Leading you to a Capricorn full moon on June 24th in your 6th house. And what this may do is have you letting go of some of your daily routines, some of your, the way in which you've organized your everyday life to make space for your partnership, make space for these new activations that have taken place over the last couple of weeks in June. And as I mentioned before, Venus will enter Leo in that 1st house of yours. So you are the cosmic lover. You will have Mars and Venus in Leo, in your sign, in your 1st house, creating this beautiful energy of the masculine and the feminine. That sexual energy will be super heightened, also allowing you to attract some really powerful opportunities that let you say, this is how I want to be seen by others. This is how I present myself. It's a great time. I would say the beginning of June, probably not a great time to do a lot of changes in your appearance. This is a great time to do the changes. So especially with that Capricorn full moon in your 6th house, it's a great time at the end of June into July to then do the cosmetics changes, whether it's surgery or whether it's changing your hair or deciding to do a new tattoo, things like that. I would advise, if you can, wait until the end of June for all those things. One other little pin on the map, of course, we know that during a Mercury retrograde is not a great time to sign paperwork or contracts, or to definitely not to start something new. I would say if you can hold off on signing things, buying new vehicles, anything that's mercurial like that, if you can hold off until the end of June, 1st of July, you'd be a much better place. However, if you do have to buy a new car, you do need to close on a house, or you're getting married and you're saying your vows, you know, all those things that are mercurial, then just keep in mind that you may need a witness, you may need a second set of eyes, you may have to go back in a couple of weeks or months and revisit some of the things around that situation, because it may not be totally clear. So just little pins on the map. I certainly hope this helps. I want to hear how it's going for you, dear Leo. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Thank you so much for being part of this channel. Find me at jamiedawn.com, and I look forward to hearing how June goes. All right, take care, Leo.